What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you an attack strategy video. And for today's content, we're going to utilize Team WBT's attempt 400 spin, 400th win spin. And we got randomly matched shiny Gemeralds. That recap will come in a separate video. For this attack strategy, it's nothing new. It's very well known, LaLo, right? Or LaLoon, or or LaLo for short. I'm going to show you two different things, a Cold Blood and a Suicide Royal, but I want to use this video to talk about loon pathing and about how you want to do one versus the other, and what I look for on bases, and both are fresh hits. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is that I've seen on other channels where they spam loons everywhere and they're like, oh look, loons are so OP, and I just disagree with that. Loons are OP, but you can't just spam them. You do have to have the plan. I'm not saying if you spam loons it won't clear. There's a percentage that it will, but when you're at the high level and you want to clear it fresh, you need a plan. End of story. So let's take a look at this. The CC lure I would get after the queen, because and I didn't want to draw this up because we need to look at lines. So the queen entry right here by the air defense, that's a dead giveaway. I need to do a Cold Blood to get that. But I also want to know what's in the CC. So looking at the CC line, I can send two loons under haste to get, I'm worried about air defenses. I thought maybe I could get that and guarantee this one going down for sure. But I figured I could maybe get down this Wiz Tower, which is a more lucrative target because I'm LaLoing the base. And I know for sure if I utilize a haste, and I'm bringing a lot of them, at least 6 of them, that it's worth the return on investment for 10 troop space and a haste to know what's in the CC. I don't want to do it ahead of time, because if it's something that I want my kill squad to guarantee to get this air defense and this AQ, so I want to time it in a way that by the time my kill squad is in here, this CC is lured and coming at me. So rather than using a wall breaker to open this up, which is a great idea to do, it just cuts into, there's a chance for a wall breaker fail. That's basically 8 troop space, so some cleanup troops. And it's just another added difficulty that could go wrong in case you have a wall breaker fail, and then that wouldn't go down. Also, if I did send, I'm going to use a Cold Blood on this one to bang on this wall to enter through here. If there is a Tesla in between this area, my golem would reroute, and here's another area that could be a Tesla. So for me, investing on one jump for my kill squad, that's it, is worth the return on investment on a fresh hit should I need to adjust on the fly. Say I put a golem down to hit on this wall around here, and all of a sudden it reroutes and it starts to go down this way. Well, then I can guarantee I get in here by putting a jump, or vice versa on the other side. So with the kill squad, I have, you want to leave the breadcrumbs in the middle. I'll leave that for my archer queen, but 2 wizards here. I also am very careful. I look at these 2 will be distracted. And this wizard tower is just outside of the range. So if I put one of my 4 wizards for funnel, one on this way, and then one on a different direction, you'll see I get a wider funnel for cheap troops. So that's what the goal is for here. This is a done deal, but as I'm doing this, you'll see the next part is I have 20 loons to plan out your pathing. You always want to keep 1 or 2 for trash rings in time. And so basically what you do is imagine, you have to have, the best advice I have for you is have the foresight that this compartment is completely gone. And now look at what we're left with. An L shape behind sweepers. We have 2 air defenses covering each other, but this third one's not. So I'm going to send the first loon from like right about hound from right about here. It'll traverse across. If it's double trapped, that's why you always, that's fine. That's why you always send a second hound from this direction to stack on there. My third hound from here, and that's my 3 hounds because I am going Cold Blood, meaning 1 golem. With all haste, I'm going to do 2 loons. So count this out with me: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then wait, 12, 14, 16, and then the last 4 loons to adjust in case there's a Tesla farm right here and I need to come at it from a different angle. I'd put 2 more to get for that. And then I have 2 loons in case there is a Tesla here on these corners, because I don't want my loons to all go over there. And that's something you want to consider, and that's what I considered on this base. So let's look at it in motion. You know, pause it at the moments that I decided to use haste and why I did that. All right, slow down a little bit. All right, so, stop. Whatever. See how I place these wizards? So that when these structures go down, this wizard goes for that, and this wizard goes for that. That's what I was talking about earlier. Simultaneously, there's my haste and 2 loons, and the information that this told me. The wizard tower does not go down, but it told me that the Tesla farm is not over here. It's over here, which actually helps me. And nothing came out of the CC, which tells me it's a hound, because hounds can't target air targeting troops. Nothing coming out like that tells you it's a hound, which tells me I'm home free for this. Like, I'm guaranteed going to get my targets that I'm looking for. So we go to ×2, see what happens. You know, I will tell you this, man. This queen hates the jump. She absolutely does. She always aggroes somewhere else. And so I just kind of did that and took it as I could, realizing that once I got my objectives, I can go ahead and just start the LaLo, because I'm not worried about the hound even if it busts, because my lava pups will take care of that. So my queen's going on the outside, which helps me out in the long run. Now, haste placement, you want to basically speed your loons past structures that are threats to them, such as witch towers and archer towers, but then also that you want to make sure that they quickly get to the air defense quickly, and before that air defense goes down, I'm already sending my next hound so that it's greeted that way. But the other reason why I do this is that now that this is being tanked right here, I can send in my loons from different angles, and so that way I don't always have a wad of loons staying behind a hound, going from one defense to the next defense to the other defense. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. You'll see that happen right here, where as the defense goes down and my tanks leave, I have haste downs in high threat areas. But for the most part, I don't have a wad of loons always behind a hound. They're always scattered on their flight towards where they need to go to. And you know, there's so many loons up at the end here as we go to ×2. It didn't matter. In fact, I do think my hound pups bust at the last moment. I keep 2 loons, and I'm basically looking at the corners as we do this. Go to ×4. Nothing but cleanup. Base was begging for a cold blood LaLo. So those are some talking points about what I look for. Let's use the same things on the next one. And that's going to be exciting. You guys got to see what happens. Here's another fresh hit. Got to watch the recap. You teaser. All right, so Suicide LaLo. What I'm looking for on this is kind of hard because there's a lot of trash here that could send your royals walking on you. I could use a cold blood to get in here, but there's too much trash and time, specifically time, high hit point storages that would slow down my BK, actually specifically my queen, that my queen would be stuck behind storages while my BK dies to that BK, and there's no guarantee I could bring down the archer queen. I'm not looking for the air defense at all. And if I put a golem first, there's no guarantee that even with the golem giving me extra time for my royals to get through there, that is way too much time to bring down. So what I realized here is I could suicide royal this. And what I recognize is at first I want to know what's in the CC. Knowing what's in the CC will help me determine how I need to deploy my troops. If it is a witch, baby dragon, and Valkyrie combination that's in there, I know how I need to drop down my BK first, use the ability right away. You know, I can't drop down my funneling troops if it's a witch and a Valkyrie out there. They'll take care of my funneling troops. So, and if it's a hound, that works in my favor, and it's a hound. So you'll see what happens right here. I use the haste trick again. I get double bang for my buck. I take out a defense, and I almost take out the mortar as well. And I specifically targeted the cannon and not the mortar because with the cannon gone, The wizards can take about 3 or 4 splash damage from a mortar and keep going. These level 6 wizards. So this is like free area for me. I just want to take down these 2 things, and then another wizard will take down this, and that gives me a straight path this way to aggro the royals. So you'll see that I know that there's a hound in there because nothing came out of the CC. You can check that line. So there's the wizard to start a little bit of the funnel. So for basically my queen, that baby dragon for suicide royals is freaking OP, and I'm basically clearing a line right there. You can see my BK has a straight shot to aggro, and it's basically not the structures, it's the aggro line. Once the BK jumps over, my BK redirects support from the baby dragon. It goes down without a fight. I still have the ability. Queen slowed down with the poison, and then she hops the corner. It really didn't matter. I still would have got her because the wizards would have also got it. And then now I'm starting my quad LaLo. So why did I decide to go for this one? Well, basically just look at the lines. Sweepers are like this, so I can go like this to that, or I can go this way that I'm going. Now the reason why I didn't start on this one, the distance of this air defense is closer to this one than that one is to this one. So if I started my LaLo on this, I'm sorry. I also considered bringing down this air defense with the skeleton spell because there's no splash damage by it, and I knew that I thought about using 2 Larry spells and a max Larry spell to bring it down during the mid kill of the royals in the CC. But because that these structures are all touching each other, I couldn't guarantee that my Larrys are going to take down specifically that air defense. It was and this is a fresh hit. There's too much risk involved with that, so I decided to leave it alone. And then also, if that went down, if I did go with the LaLo spell, this is where I would start, I guess, and I thought that's where I would, but the pathing didn't look right because the hound would traverse this way to that one, and the pathing did not work out. So this is definitely the way to go. There's also there's only 3 things targeting that with the double stacked air defense. I got Loon's haste to bring that down, and then they all kind of converge over. See, I'm already sending that 3rd hound to the next air defense, and you'll see how quickly I send the 4th one. But I already deployed the Loons from all different angles, targeted 2 towards each defense. I want to sprint towards here. I brought a haste for a Tesla farm, which I suspected to be in the core. When I see I got some wounded loons right here, that's when I drop the haste to bring them back up. And everything, again, targeted loons everywhere. I keep 2 for the end. And use a haste right here at that Tesla farm and wizard, which is a dicey situation, but it was perfectly executed, and if I don't say so myself, because all my hounds pop right as the loons take out the air defense, and I had archers for every corner. It's also something you need to consider. And I still had 2 loons remaining in case there was corner Teslas, which is you're gonna see a lot of those to try to stop those fresh hit 3s because loons are everywhere. So very similar design, similar concept that we saw with the Cold Blood, except I did Suicide Royals and brought 4 hounds instead of 3. But same principles apply as far as targeted loons, using haste to quickly get them towards the air defense to bring it down, and then sending the third or fourth hound ahead of time. And then, putting loons right behind that targeted so that you have loons scattered everywhere on the base to quickly bring it down and basically swarm the base with those loons. So hopefully those talking points about LaLo are helpful for you. Once again, it's Brutus reminding you got to be better than the double, and I'll check you next time.